All right. Let's see if we sound good. Ooh, I should have just left the live stream up. What am I doing? What am I doing? I should have just tested on my own there. I don't know. Don't know why I didn't do that. All right, I'll ask y'all then. Let me know. Let me know how we sounded. Give me a one in the chat if we sound good. If I sound crazy, let me know. Let's just knock this thing out. I'll refresh. We'll be good to go. But for whatever, you know what? I think this is a StreamYard thing. I don't have this issue on Bleacher Report. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what the problem is there. Okay. Okay, we got a one. We got a one. All right, we're good. 1 second. We sound good. Hey, that's a good sign. It probably won't in about 5 minutes because I just freaked out right there. But man, we're here with our quick injury report update. We did this last week. Maybe that was 2 weeks. I think we did it last week. We kind of lit live on Wednesday, but we also played Thursday, so that was a huge reason for that. But yeah, we went live last week. I think we did a quick little injury report update, and I wanted to do the same thing today, just because it's in between streams. I have the NFC North Roundtable next, so we'll be over there. I'll be hosting that. If y'all want to tune into that, tune in. Also, this live stream is being brought to you by BetUS. Use that code YouTube150, 150% deposit match, first deposit, 125% your next two, up to $2,000. They're hooking you up, man, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But yeah, we got to get to this injury report because a lot of updates, a lot of positive updates. See, this was the thing. We just needed to be patient. Not even patient, and it's not us. It's not us. It's the national outlook is like, hey, just relax. All right, we're gonna be all right. And it looks like we got a lot of positives swinging the Lions' way for this game. Now, Bills had a walkthrough today, so we don't, know a ton there. We know a little bit, maybe not a ton. We have a couple injury updates there that we'll touch on, but we'll see how that shakes out. And then from the Lions side of things, a lot of things look like major positives. We know we had some extra days off. Linked to NFC Roundtable. I can put that in here. I'll put that in here when we end. You can also just look up NFC North Roundtable on YouTube. We usually go live about 6:15 Eastern. We try to go at 6, but that doesn't normally happen. So 6:15 Eastern, that's safe to time. What's up, Daniel? I see you in the chat. Let's start with the Lions first here. And we don't have a lot. Oh, that's not the right graphic. All right, hold up. My bad. Put the wrong one on the screen. We can show some graphics though. We got the graphics. We were on Bleacher Report earlier, so that stream link is in the community if you want to tune into that. We dove into that. Yeah, a lot of good here, man. Taylor Decker, full participation. Dan said that, it was looking positive for Taylor Decker on the outlook. I mean, again, it's Wednesday, so these things can definitely change, but this is a major positive having him listed as full participation already. Ali McNeil in concussion protocol, as Dan pointed out. He just has to clear concussion protocol, and if he does that, according to Dan Campbell, it sounds like he's probably going to be able to go as well. So he just has to clear protocol. That's what that's going to come down to. Levi limited, and Josh Pascal both limited. I think Levi. Let me double check my notes here. I think Levi was the one that he said, and actually I can just pull the clips. Levi was the one that he's a little more optimistic about. And then DJ Reader, no participation. It sounds like those guys are going to be like day to day as we go throughout the week here to see if they're able to play. But yeah, Josh Pascal could practice today, which he did, limited participation. DJ Reader could start practicing Thursday, and then Levi will practice on Thursday. But he was also listed as limited today, so that's a huge positive. So yeah, we're definitely going the right direction here. But I think there was like some clips. I listened to Dan Campbell's stuff. I also listened to some of Sean McDermott. Let me see if I have the clips here on X that I could just pull up so you guys can hear what it is outside of me. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. I kind of just said it. So you know what? I don't know where the clips are. Oh, actually, we had the clips from Monday. I don't think we have clips from today. We have the clips from Monday. So let me throw this in here because he also updated the IR as well with Iffy and Alex, and there was some positives there as well, but it kind of just laid everything out for us. So let me let this play. Give me a 1 when I start playing this if y'all can hear it.
Iffy next week, because that'll be through there. And we'll have that conversation about Rakestraw and Iffy.
What up, sir?
Week, because that'll be through their 4-week period. Alex,
So he says Rakestraw and Iffy, they'll have their conversations next week. That'll be the 4 weeks up. Now, Iffy was the weird one. We thought he was coming back, and then he didn't, and then he hit IR again. So, I mean, we really haven't any updates on Iffy, but it sounds like he's going to be in the conversation. And same thing with Rakestraw. Two guys that are backups at this point, but it'd be great to have them, especially when you're talking about playoff push. So even if it's not coming back next week, at some point, at least if that's on the radar, that'd be fantastic for depth reasons. And he goes to Alex here. I'll let him speak on Alex.
We feel like is on pace towards the end of this season. It could be the last game. It may not be till the playoffs, but we feel good about getting him back.
There we go. That sounds good.
I think Khalif's probably in that boat, probably where Alex is at.
So Alex and Khalif both in the same boat. I'm taking that as even if it's not for the regular season, hopefully by the playoffs, obviously get that bye, help yourself a little bit. But by the very end, that's kind of the timeline that was laid out for Alex. That was expected 6 to 8 weeks. So that matches right up. And then same thing with Khalif there. Well, Khalif would be pushed a little bit back, but Khalif Hussein is kind of in the same boat there. Tim Patrick's obviously stepped in. He's been a dog for us.
And then, Jalen, he's better. Jalen Reeves-Maven is better. But it's just slow going right now. So I don't really know where he could be, or, there is a chance we get him in a few weeks. There's a chance we don't. So it's just kind of, it's just where we're at. And we'll have that.
All right, so the Jalen one is another one that we really had no idea about, I feel like. But now Jalen potentially on the table, potentially not on the table. I don't know. Like there's a chance that he's okay and there's a chance that he's not. He did update the injuries on Wednesday, so I'll play the clip. But again, this is Monday versus what you forgot about Jalen. Yeah, it's been a minute. I mean, shout out to Ezekiel Turner. He's been a dog. Like, I mean, he's been good, but we know Jalen was like as soon as that guy got his defensive looks, he changed a lot of things for us. But I'll let him speak on this.
So we're better than.
Because I think he talks about Mac too.
No, here. I know this. Every one of our guys, it's much more positive. Everybody is healing up. And so we're better than we were last week. I don't know yet how many we'll get back. And honestly, I may not know until Thursday of this week, just exactly where we're at. I'm feeling better about Decker, but yet I need to see,
and he was
and then the D
full
line
participation
is in flux,
today.
There's a chance Levi could be back. Mac's got a pass protocol. He's in and everything. He did not take a step back. So as long as he can clear, that sounds positive. But it's just going to take time to figure some of this out.
So, okay, he didn't actually. Did he even bring up Pascal there? I don't think he even brought up Josh Pascal there, which is kind of weird. But anyways, the big thing there, we know Pat O'Connor, as Dan points out, played big DN, played some nose. He played really well last week. So he'll be in a spot that if we need to go to him again, they'll feel comfortable with that, I'm sure. Levi, and I don't love the offensive line for the Bills, by the way. We'll get to that preview later in the week. But from what I've seen so far, I mean, maybe I'll change my mind as I continue to go through. I don't think they have a great offensive line. I think it's okay. They've ran really well. I think they're 9th in rushing this season, depending on the stats that you look at. But just don't love it up front, especially on the left side. I think they're a little shaky with pass protection. But Levi, Aleem, assuming he's, full participation, he just has to get through this protocol, had some extra time. If that's the case, he gets through, we'll be good there. And obviously Broderick last week, we may trust him again to go to that role, but with Pat O'Connor playing some nose, they'll be okay with that. And then Levi getting back gives you that flexibility back. Seeing Decker with full participation is the big positive. And then the Reader one, I don't know on Reader. I'm hoping, Aleem gives us flexibility there, but Reader he's one of those like unique players that are very hard to replace on this roster. Like it's just hard to find nose tackles that are that good. They just don't exist in the NFL. Not to fill the roles that we ask of them. So hopefully on DJ Reader, but right now it's no participation. So hopefully we get some positive updates as the week rolls along. I will also say on the Bills side, I don't think we've gotten like the full, unless it changes. I don't know what their time zone is. Oh no. Well, that's inactive. I don't think we got the full injury report from them yet in terms of what that's going to look like, but we did get a little like snapshot of what they're dealing with or some of their key players that are not practicing today, and I wanted to touch on that. And we also got to hear a little bit of this from their head coach, so I'll just touch on it here. I think we're familiar with these names that are listed, at least most of these names. Most will be familiar with this. We have, first off, Rasul Douglas. I'm trying to find the tweet here. Rasul Douglas, no participation today. That's a dog. They traded from him from Green Bay, so we'll know him familiar-wise. Rasul's a dog. I'm a big Rasul fan, but no participation today. I get, he's had knee injuries, but I guess it's his shoulder banged up against L.A. That's why there's no participation here. He's listed with knee, though, actually, so I guess it was more than knee. But then, he missed some time. But then there's also, he missed some time against the Rams, and then there's also Taylor Rapp, which Taylor Rapp was, he played throughout the game, but he's been dealing with a neck injury. If he can't go, I would expect the rookie Cole Bishop out of Utah would step in and play some of those reps there. I like him too out of Utah. But yeah, if there is no Rasul Douglas, the question for them, for their side, is just who's the guy that steps in. And it was an interesting answer because they're back. Khair Elam is back with the Bills, and he was asked about Khair, and he said, everybody's got to essentially earn it. So I wouldn't bet on them going with Khair. They've had Jamarcus Ingram step into that role. I haven't seen a ton of their defense to this point. I focus on the Bills' offense, so I don't know a ton about these guys. The numbers aren't great. 12 of 17. He's allowed 12 receptions on 17 targets. He doesn't grade out extremely well, but he also played against the Rams, which that's not a great receiving core if you're not ready for the challenge. He's long, though. Physical tackler, as Sean McDermott pointed out. He's 6'2", so he's definitely a different build than some of their other backups that they have. But Elam's obviously a long guy, too. 82 snaps this season. And, Jamarcus over 100 snaps this season. So probably one of those two if they have to go to the bench there. But I think that's a huge swing potentially in this one. The Packers not having Jair, I think is kind of similar to if they don't have Rasul. I think he's a game changer. And then Christian Benford's a good corner too. So it's really like outside of that piece, it's a big loss for that defense. Rapp versus Cole Bishop, I think that would probably be fine. But again, I haven't watched a ton of their defense. So I'll have to dive into that more and then, get a better take on that. But for the Lions side, again, it feels like, hey, a little bit like, hey, we just had to chill for a second. A lot of things going positive, and the Reader one's the biggest question, but it also, it's pointing positive towards Taylor Decker, which is awesome. Hopefully that's the case there. Interesting thing with all this, with all these injuries going on, and, with IR2 getting Alex back, saying that he's on schedule is great there. And same thing with Rakestraw, because that's concerning considering what the injury was. Tim Patrick has been fantastic. And, he played a great game last week, and we dove into it over there on Bleacher Report, but I actually put a list together. A list. I don't want to call this a list. I don't want to call this a list. I put a graphic together for what Tim Patrick has done over the last few weeks. And if you want to see my full breakdown, showing clips, that kind of thing, because this will be shorter because I have to move to the NFC North roundtable shortly. But I do want to showcase this graphic to just kind of show what this guy has been doing over the last few weeks here. And I think the big thing that swings with me with Tim Patrick is the way that they're actually utilizing him, because he's not Josh. He's not Chark. He's unique. He's not the same type of player. But when you watch him, it's all the underneath usage that he's getting. We know he's great after the catch. He shows a lot of, short area footwork like that a bigger receiver typically doesn't bring to the table. And now they're starting to test around the idea of getting him involved in red zone spots. When you watch him underneath, though, and we're seeing that, right? 2 touchdowns last week. And Dan Campbell pointed out his blocking. He pointed out the little things that he did. I'm going to show you 2 plays. I don't want to go through the whole thing, but I want to show you 2 plays that I showed in the video earlier today. And again, that is the whole full episode. It's 30-some minutes long. It's over on Bleacher Report. The link, it's free to watch. It's over there in the community right now. I want to show you 2 clips from him the last game. Okay, this was Tim Patrick the last game, 2 things that he did. And, there's a lot more that I could have went here, but one thing that I think has been constant with a lot of our receivers and the success and Allen Robinson, and maybe he shows up at a big spot. Someone brought up they think are saving him. Maybe he shows up at a big spot of playoffs. Who knows? I mean, you got to be ready for it. The big thing with me with Patrick is when you go through just his logs, he'll go quarters without even touching the football. And then I think it was the Green Bay game. He had or maybe it was the Colts game. It was like Tim Patrick, just straight. And you're like, oh, this guy's taking over. His ability to do that. I mean, we think about Goff set the record, right? This past week with 5 receptions at least for 6 different targets in the same game. He did it against Green Bay. Everybody's getting involved. But for him to just not be involved in the offense at all, getting the football, and just be incredibly ready as soon as the number's called is fantastic. And I want to show these 2 plays. So this first one, they run this rub route, and this is he does this a lot. I went through and I was charting his routes, Chad. I don't know if you all will be able to see this. But the amount of clear outs and just things like that. And again, remember, there's no Khalif. So Khalif would do a lot of that. And he's the same that he'll block. Obviously, bit for body type. But man, he does the clear outs. He does all those things. Yeah, that's not going to help. He does so many of those type of routes. And Tim Patrick steps in and he does that from jump on a 3rd down, runs a pick route, gets our guy open. And then watch this block, Jay. You're going to love this. Watch this block here from Tim Patrick. So you'll zoom in on him. He gets the first contact right there. Gets a little handsy. All right, I see you. And then watch him finish on this play. Bam, lit him up. And that's what Tim Patrick's adding, bro. That's what Tim Patrick's adding. So he's a different body type than Khalif Raymond, but he's adding that element to the team. And I think that unselfishness is allowing us to now kind of dabble in oh, this guy's a really good level 1 type of target. That's what he's become here. And, we're kind of figuring out the route tree. I think the big thing with J-Mo taking off has been the route tree, the over routes, the in breakers, and then he's expanding on top of that. Tim Patrick, where he's at in his career, you kind of just know what he is. But the Lions are finding the way to implement him. And the amount of 4-yard over balls and curls that we're throwing to him is this shouldn't happen with a guy at his size. Or separating like this. Again, remember how big this dude is. This is not Khalif Raymond running an out route. This is Tim Patrick, okay, running a little stick route. Or the over balls like this where it's immediately turning into yards at the catch. That's where, to me, we're dabbling with Tim Patrick now in the red zone, and that's where we started to find kind of the crazy success, man. Please sub, like, share, copy. You don't have to send it, but it still counts good for channel. I appreciate you, Mile. How you doing? Dose, we call them Saint Tim Patrick. I'm not mad at that. We call him Saint Tim Patrick. All right. I'll roll with Saint Tim Patrick. You know what I mean? Saint Timmy P, stop playing. That sounded crazy. That sounded really crazy if I say that fast. Let me calm down a little bit. He calmed down a little bit, but like, look at this. And this is the thing. Okay, so I want to take y'all back. You guys remember first time we played the Rams? You may not, but Khalif Raymond had this big reception, this little drag, and he snagged it. It was like outside, and he took off for like 50 yards. This play gave me flashbacks to that because he ends up being short here. But I remember that play, and it was like, this is not an offense, and we all know that. We don't throw a lot of 50-yard go balls, right? It's just not who we are, right? We may have to match up one time or a certain coverage look, and it's like, we got behind the safety, let's take the shot. But it's not often, especially on a broken play. You're never getting that really outside of like Cephas year 1 against Green Bay, which was crazy. This play to me reminded me so much of that Khalif play where it was like, that was the big play this offense needed, and it was a drag. It was a drag, man. And then I watched this from Tim Patrick. I'm like, this guy's like 6'4", not the body type at all that Khalif is, but this is the kind of thing that he would do. And this is also big trust because I don't even know if Goff is looking at Tim Patrick here. He's just firing it to him. To make this like reactive play with your hands down and away, snag that thing off the turf essentially and fall forward even though he fell a yard short. That's the kind of thing that Tim Patrick is doing that Khalif would add. Now he's just doing it in a bigger frame, which is opening up this for the over the middle of the field routes. But how fast he's now turning in 15, 20 to 30 plus. That's what Tim Patrick, and of course like this. Here's the other aspect I will say. And again, I know I'm kind of hyping Tim Patrick, but I gotta give him this too because this was the question. You know what I mean? Like we got to address it. We had this question coming into the year, like how are these? Who's going to be that guy? Everybody's asking who's going to be the big guy on the outside. Tim Patrick's become that guy. His ability to win at the line of scrimmage, especially against press, is going to bode really well. I think the red zone stuff will because now he's starting to get looks, but if you think about how many times we stack and we bunch and we put guys off the line of scrimmage, now you're asking a guy like Tim Patrick to be the guy that handles the press. He has to deal with contact immediately. And Tim Patrick has like, I'm fine. I'll take that role. And that allows Saint to stand off the line of scrimmage. That way he doesn't get bumped. And that way he can play behind like we just showed a stack so we can run an out route to pick up a first down against man without being touched, which normally if you put Saint on the line, that guy's going to be, they're going to be all over him because like we got to get that guy off. We got to get that guy off his route. And Tim Patrick now can stack up and be like, I'll be the point man essentially, and I'll take that stress away from the smaller receiver. That way you guys can go to work. So in a play like this where you're like, let's get the tight end open and it doesn't open up, he's able to jump inside release on a guy that's sitting inside leverage and then bam, stick and get open and make that grab. And here's the thing too with Tim Patrick, like the routes that they're running, these like in breakers and these speed outs that he's very capable of, and this short area footwork, which he has for a big guy, is unique to him because Josh wasn't running this stuff. DJ Shark wasn't running this stuff, but he's got his own unique skill set. I think the Lions are really tapping into that while also wanting a little bit more, of what, this offense could use. You could see like the off man and the getting in and out of breaks, the ability to sink is like a little bit questionable like this, but he definitely has a unique skill set. And I think the Lions are really tapping into it right now. And this is what makes him special. As soon as the ball gets into his hands, he has been special for us. So I just want to give Tim Patrick some love here when we're talking about injuries and what he's added. And I think this, even though he's not catching it in time, this is going to prove to be very valuable. He had his 2 first touchdown receptions with the Lions, first in like 4 years or something insane. It's fantastic. And, you can see the off-man stuff is not great for him, especially when he doesn't have that vertical push, but he's super disciplined as a route runner. He doesn't sink that well, but if you're asking him to stick and get open, watch him here. Watch him just stick it, bam, get open. Out routes, speed breaks, those kind of things, super effective on. And then, of course, this is the difference maker with Tim Patrick and just being able to post up. Like he does a better job than most of like, I'm going to make myself a target for you, Goff. And we saw that the first time against Indy when he broke and play, Goff finds him big gains. So show some love to Tim Patrick there. What is St. Tim Patrick's Day? St. Tim Patrick. Oh, I get it. St. Patrick's Day. I get it. St. Tim Patrick's Day. Okay, now I understand more. I thought you were referring to St. Brown, but it actually makes a lot more sense now that you throw that in there. Okay, I got you. Jack and Branch, Spies Shaken. Something stirred. I see you, Chris. I don't know what you're talking about, but I see you. I want to see Neil do a breakdown like that. Okay, I don't know who Neil is. Anyway, man, no, hey, look, so I want to touch on that, and then the other thing, I don't, you know what, I'm not going to go to the other thing. I'll leave it for the Bleacher Report stream, because that was kind of like the majority of the show. But I did give this defense a lot of love because it has been so clutch. And, I was trying to come together like, oh, let's make the MVP case, that kind of thing. And what stuck out to me was like, oh, the defense has actually been so clutch, this year. That's actually been what it is. It's not about as much of, hey, Goff's been great in these spots, like these big spots, and he's been that since he's become a Lion. I think the confidence is built up, but just look at this. I mean, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, this is the Lions defense situationally this season. I just want to throw this out there for anybody that's just, hey, I don't know. You know, what are the Lions? Let's just, don't just give the credit to the defense. Give credit to the fact that we have a very clutch defense. This is a big-time, situational, big spot team that is incredible. I mean, second, first, fourth, and then you could see the by half, by quarter, that kind of thing. And the amount of games that we ran through earlier today of, like, every game the Lions defense gives the Lions offense essentially an opportunity to go win it over and over and over. It speaks to how clutch this defense has been. And now when we get this injury report and we're saying, like, oh, these guys are coming back, it ties it all together because it was such a concern. And it's wild because, I think we're going to miss Houston a little bit. I think we have, like Minnesota, Houston, he came through with some big pressures. Zadarius Smith, in a lot of ways, over the last 2 games, has had 2 key pressures. He had a big sack against Chicago, Caleb, and also the big pressure this last week on a 3rd and goal that would have had a route open. Jordan Love didn't feel like he had time, so he took off and got tackled for 2 yards. Those 2 plays are very reminiscent of what Aiden Hutchinson was for this team. He's not the Hutchinson level, but in big spots, can you just come through and flush a quarterback? Hutchinson was doing that up until he got injured in every 3rd down, seemingly, and now we've started to see that little bit of what Zadarius Smith has been so impactful. He's got 20 pressures as a Lion in 5 games. It's incredible. He's doing the same thing. What up, Brandon? I see you. James Bond, shaken, not stirred. Martini, LOL. All right, see, look, I don't know James Bond like that. I'm going to be honest with you. That sounds familiar. I guess maybe I'm a hater. I don't know. My dad likes the movies. He's like, look, I found this James Bond channel. I'm like, what are you talking about, James Bond channel? How many movies are there? There must be a lot of them. There must be a lot. Like, I think the idea of it's cool. I just never, I never really watched. I don't even know if I've ever watched a full James Bond movie. I'm going to be honest with you. He's an expert. Oh, okay. We need takeaways this game. That'd be fantastic. And I think they're going to be there for our safeties. Like, this is a team, honestly, even for cornerbacks, from what I've went through so far, this is an offense that, look, Dalton Kincaid sounds like he's going to be good to go for this one. So they're getting healthier for this game, especially with their weapons. Matt Collins, I didn't know how big of a part he was. Think about it. They moved off Gabe Davis. Last time he played him, he was like the other guy, and I never was a big Gabe Davis guy. Matt Collins might be an upgrade for this team. I'm being completely honest. That he might be an upgrade for this team. And Matt Collins has been a big-time one-on-one guy for them. And now Amari Cooper's kind of fit into that role. And when you watch Green Bay play, or not Green Bay, but you watch LA, and it's like, all right, they're giving them a lot of one-on-one opportunities. There's a lot of cover 3. There's a lot of singled-up receivers on the outside. And they, in that game, are able to go at these LA Rams corners a little bit. I'm pretty fired up because I'm a big believer in our cornerbacks. And, we did this whole reel, when you look at how good Lions have been situationally, so much of it is not about Zadarius or Carlton. It's about Amik Robertson, who's been incredible, Brian Branch, Jack Campbell over the last few weeks. These big gotta have it, get off the field downs. It's those guys. And I heard before I got on here where they're like, well, the Lions defense isn't. I think I heard on ESPN. For whatever reason, I heard it kind of in passing, but they're like, oh yeah, they're not full with Darrelle Revis, so I would attack these guys. And I'm like, all right. You're missing the boat here because the teams we're playing aren't full with 4 Justin Jeffersons. You know what I mean? Let's be real. Buffalo's got Amari Cooper who's a dog, and he's going to be a challenge, and he's going to see a lot of Carlton. But then what? Matt Collins, the number 2, and it's like that's against Terrion. We're not seeing Justin Jefferson in the slot and out wide like that, so we don't need Darrelle Revis everywhere. And to be fair, Amik's been, I think, arguably the best cornerback that we've had situationally this year. He's been awesome. The 2-point conversion, he's jumping routes. Go back early in the season, this dude go watch him against Seattle and the amount of key plays he made. And Brian Branch has been incredible there because he's flexible. You had to Houston where he's knocking passes away, getting off the field. Obviously against the LA Rams where he's dropping on a safety roll, getting pass breakups. You're like, this guy's everywhere. And we didn't get any update on Brian Branch, by the way. This is a side note, Chad. Does anybody know, is Branch good? He wasn't on the injury report. Is he okay? He must be okay, right? Let's not make something that's not there a thing. But I just assume that it's going to be a good game. Go Bills. Oh, I'm fired up, Chris. And I'm fired up because we put on a show. Lions and Bills put on a show last Thanksgiving, and the Lions just set the record. The Lions posted by most viewers in a regular season game on Thanksgiving, 17+ million, which is ridiculous. This Lions-Bills game, I expect to be a show again. Especially because, if the Bills were winning, you could be like, oh, maybe they'll lose one here. But now you're coming off a loss, and Josh Allen and the MVP conversation. Let me throw you guys this graphic. And it's nothing deep. I put this together today just between the 2 quarterbacks and kind of the comparison between the 2. There's a lot on this, but at the same time, for both teams, outside of Bills, it's really a 1-seed type of game. Both teams are trying to fight for a 1-seed. Bills kind of staying alive. Their line's trying to hold off the Philadelphia Eagles. And for both teams, hopefully this means, I don't want to say hopefully, but it may mean a little bit less because they're out of conference games, but it's really just like about battling for the 1 seed. But I think it's also just kind of like who's that dude? You know what I mean? Like, it may not change anything at the end of it all. Like, at the end of it all, I mean, the Chiefs may not give it the 1 seed. We may still get it regardless. It may not really mean that much when we all look back on the season. And the playoffs are going to be a whole different animal regardless. But it's like in the moment, it just feels like one of those, like, let's put two just juggernaut teams next to each other and just let them go to battle and just have some fun with this, right? We got the 4 o'clock window. It should be a primetime game, but let's just, it's one of those spots, right, where it's not like one team's fighting for the playoffs here. Both teams are going to get in. But it's just like, let's put 2 of the best going at it, MVP conversation. Let's just have some fun and see how this thing shakes out. And I expect that's what to be. I think Dan's going to have some aggressive play calls. I think he's going to probably fake a punt on a 4th down. Could be wrong, but I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. Like, I think that's what we're in store for this game, is we're going to get some of that craziness just because both teams are going to be swinging. And this is the graphic for anybody wondering about the MVP conversation. It's no advanced stats. It's just on the, just the basic stats, right? But you can see it. Like, there's a lot of, it's interesting. And look, you can argue the talent around him, all that kind of stuff, but this is an interesting breakdown when you look at the stats and, the total yards are somewhat similar. I mean, obviously, Scoot Goff, unfortunately, doesn't have the same rush yards as Allen, even though, I'm surprised he's only at 47, I'll be honest. But it's like, this is it, man. This is going to be a lot of fun, man. It is just, I'm fired up that we get this matchup. Like, I think this is what we thought the Niners matchup was going to be. But it's this one, man. This is like the game. And it's, again, going back to what we did last time we played the Bills, and it was kind of like Lions are legit. Like, at that time, we were winning, then we lost, but it was like, that was a good loss. It rarely happens, but it felt like that. I'm not going to the game because it cost too dang much. I'm going to be straight up and out. I wanted to. Man, I ain't dropping no K to go sit in a line. Look, man, if it's a playoff game, it wouldn't be 1,000, right? Let me calm down. A playoff game would be 1,000 for 1 seat. But if it's a little bit too much. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I gotta pick wisely which game I'd go to this year because I'm only going to one if I go to one. And I was just like, I like the idea of it, but we got Bleacher Report. We're doing the show. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna overdo it. But also at the same time, like, a lot of ways, like, the Lions-Vikings game is more tempting to me because it's like that game could be all the marbles if we're being real, or a playoff game, of course. When will Jamo break loose, like 2 or more touchdowns? Oh, in the same game? That's a good question, man. I don't know. Like, maybe this week. I think, saying that stat about Goff getting everybody involved last week kind of says it all because that's kind of who they are as an offense, what makes them unique. It just has to be the right matchup for that to be the case. I think Jamo, like we saw week 1 against the LA Rams, where you get a lot of zone, a lot of match zone, a lot of singled up kind of things. A team that just lives heavy zone, not just, like, if a team lives kind of heavy zone, they're a little bit more aggressive with their safety play, that kind of thing, it's going to open those opportunities. Like, I would even say Houston. Going into that Houston game, their safeties were more aggressive. They were going to kind of, come up a little bit. And even though we didn't connect on the shots, we tried it multiple times. You're going to have to find a team that plays like that, I think, for 2 touchdowns. Because you'll have to get, like, the Dallas over the top type of touchdown, and then maybe something where they get to the high red zone, like, let's be a little creative. Let's throw them a screen, or let's run an end around, like that kind of thing. That'd be the way I think he pops 2 touchdowns, is you'll have to get probably one of those big ones. And just depending on how the team's playing defensively, that may or may not present itself. Like, I think last week probably wasn't the best game to present itself because of how Green Bay plays in coverage, and also because of how much Tampa 2 they played. It was like, yeah, that's not going to be the best game to get them over top. They played a lot more of that than I expected, but that game will present itself. I don't know if it's this week because I haven't went through enough of the Bills' defense. I don't know. Maybe it is, but I have went through more of their offense. I start with their offense and I go through the defense. I try to split them. Last thing I read was Branch was dealing with some cramping. Oh, okay, that's what it was. Yeah, someone said that. Okay, good. Okay, thank you for that. I forgot about that. Yeah, someone said that, and I completely forgot. Okay, good look. Elmo, and they wanted MCDC fired, too. Hey, shout out to them, bro. Shout out to Sheila. You know what I mean? Shout out to Sheila. What's Joe Burrow's stats? Bengals defense ruining his best season. 100%. Burrow, I think, is like top of the league in everything statistically. Maybe not. I think he is. He's top of the league in passing yards and touchdowns, I believe, passing touchdowns. Say, if we were just... The problem is I think there's like, 50 voters. One of the voters is... that Emmanuel guy, whatever. I don't, no hate for him, but it's just like, all right, that's just the way we're doing it. So headlines mean more. The way they see it, and he even said, like, directly, they got too many losses, like that guy. I think he said that. Someone said that was a voter, and it's like, that's just how it's gonna go because there is no. It's kind of like when Peyton Manning was in discussion for being hurt. I remember back when Stafford got hurt, and as a fan, I was like, man, he should be in the conversation. Like 19 touchdowns, 5 picks, and as soon as he goes out, this team can't win a football game. Based on that, he should be in the conversation. He was outstanding until he got hurt, and now he can't win a game. And I think there is a lot of those. Not a lot of those, but there are occasions where that's the case, but they'll never be in the conversation just because nobody's thinking that deeply about it, if I'm being honest. Nobody is. It'll be Saquon, do you hit the record? Well, he's got a shot. If you don't hit the record, yeah, that guy's not winning it. Like, I think that's where it is right now. And we're seeing Josh's May is a monster favorite for it. Sam LaPorta having big day. I like that. And Sam LaPorta's been good recently. Like last game, he had the one drop. He was really good though. Like I was trying to go through these receivers, man, and J-Mo, again, I like the way they were using him, but it's specifically Sam LaPorta. You know what I mean? Sam LaPorta has been pretty good. Chat, give me 1 second here. I got a call from my man TD, so let me answer this real quick, chat. Hang on. What's All right. TD was trying to make sure we set up right for the roundtable. We've had some weird login issues. All right. So he's probably going to call me again in a second, but we got to dial it in. We're live over there about 6 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to end the stream here in a second. But yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate everybody just joining now. We did the injury updates. Appreciate everybody being in here. Check. Hey, I would say, I'm telling you, if you have the app, just open it, go to my page, go to the events, click that link. Watch the show today. We broke it down, man. We broke down the defense, and we broke down situationally how clutch they've been. We showed a lot of clips. We talked to Tim Patrick. We dove into it. So I'm telling you, it was a good show today if you want to check that out. What up, D? I think we about to do numbers in this one. I think so, too. I think it'll be a lot of numbers put. I think both teams are going to put up a lot of points. That would be my expectation for this one. We're going to get some numbers for sure. Goff just doesn't do anything that stands out. Yeah, the only way that Goff wins, I think, in a war like this is kind of what he's doing. You got to win a ton of games, and the numbers just have to be undeniably up there with everybody. And that's what he has this year. Like the Lions posted a thing, for his passing numbers, and they're up there. That'll be the only way that I think a guy like Goff ever gets it. Kind of like Matt Ryan, right? Didn't Matt Ryan have like a ridiculous stat season? They won like 12 games, I think, that year. Obviously, they went to the Super Bowl. So maybe not as many wins, but I think his numbers were fantastic. That'll be how Goff gets it. You know what I mean? I think that's his path to getting something like this. It's kind of like he would not be in the conversation. The Lions are 8-5 like Lamar. It just won't happen. It won't go down like that. I think most quarterbacks are in that situation unless you're one of these. Like Mahomes has been in the conversation for a while, which makes no sense. But they have a weird, unique path. But also they're winning a lot, so I guess I'll give him that. We did get he's the past of winning 1-2. I think we had the stats on here they posted, but I don't know where they are. 13-1 incoming. No, I love that. And look, there's some tough games this week, man. Philly's got Pittsburgh. Minnesota's got Chicago, which I don't think that'll be as close, but I hope it is. You know what I mean? I hope it is. I hope Chicago finds a way this time. I don't believe it, but I hope they do. All right. I think I just got the thing he sent me. If the Lions win out, Jared is MVP. I believe that. Yeah, I think so. 16-1 would be hard to. Especially if it does come out that last week and then they win that one too to get the 1 seed. Like that would be 2 major games that would be out there. Okay, we're good. He's going to call me again, I'm sure. All right, cool, man. Okay, so yeah, man, we're going to go to the round table. We're going to go talk about this Lions-Packers game. School represent, man. If y'all want to represent Lions, represent. And outside of that, we're going to leave it here. I'm working on my preview for this game. I'm just not ready yet. Maybe we'll do it live. You all let me know. If you want it live, you want it pre-recorded, let me know. Yeah, the 1 seed is going to be tough. I just don't know how the tiebreak's going to work out. Like, even if we lost the last game, I don't know. But I think Minnesota is – here's the one. It's Minnesota-Green Bay. I think that's going to be the big one. And now with Green Bay losing, Like let's listen. If let's say the Rams win, and I think if the Rams win and the Seattle Seahawks also win, which I think is on the table, if Seattle beats Green Bay, now all of a sudden there might be like some legitimacy where it's like, this may not be Packers are for sure in. Assume they will get in, but then all of a sudden the Packers Vikings becomes huge, and that I think the Packers could definitely get the Vikings. I don't think the Bears can. I hope they can. I don't think they can. I think the Packers can beat the Vikings. I think that's possible. So they don't have a win over like a legitimately good team this year. I don't think they have a win over a team 500, but that may be wrong. But like a legit team. So that will be the one. That'll be the one that gives us some space potentially. And if we win this one, Chicago, it's San Fran, it's Minnesota. So we're in a great spot. But this is like the last, you know what I'm saying? This is the big one. But yeah, man, I'm going to end it here. I appreciate y'all joining. Join me over there at the round table. I will see you guys over there in about 9 to 20 minutes. Tune it back. Go back if you're just joining. We talked about the injury report. I showed some clips, and we're going to leave it there. And, man, and I'll also go check out, if you just want more Lions content, go check out the I'm going to throw the link in the chat right now. If you want more Lions content, man, check out that link. Community tab. I dropped those. Look, man, we're live every Wednesday twice. I'm live on Bleacher Report. So if you guys have the app, just open it up. But I drop them on the tab. We also go live post game too after the live stream. NFC North Roundtable. We also do that too. But oh, here it is. Oh, see, I don't even know if the preview came out on time last week. I'm gonna be honest. I think we may have posted it at the wrong time, which is disappointing. But the roundtable's cooking right now, man. And I told y'all we expanded. You know what I mean? So that's in the works right now. Here's the link. An error has occurred. All right, that's not great. Let me try again. An error has occurred. All right, I guess I can't post the link unless y'all see it. Just go to NFC North Roundtable on YouTube. It's got like our emojis. It's got a football. It's like color different Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears. We out. I will see y'all over there. We out. Maybe. Hold up. I can't even end the stream. An error occurred. Man, I can't even end the next stream, dog. Wait a minute. Yo, YouTube holding me hostage. Wait, hold. All right, I'm going to have to refresh. I can't end the stream, dog. All right, I figured it out. That's the link. It logged me out while I was live. That's insane. That's crazy work, StreamYard. Y'all got to be better. But that's the link. Join us over there. We out.